Hello students. Uh, Today what we'll do is we'll conduct an experiment on cast iron, that is a compression test on cast iron. Compression test can be conducted on any material, as you know, and you have already conducted compression test on wood when wood was loaded along the grains and across the grains, and we found out the results. You can conduct a compressive test even on mild steel and on cast iron. However, based on the material characteristics, the nature of failure will slightly differ. For example, if I choose mild steel being a ductile material, when it is subjected to a compressive load, it buckles. While in case of cast iron is a brittle material and it has got much higher compressive strength as compared to mild steel. But when this is subjected to a compressive load, what generally happens is it fails on the theory of maximum shear stress, that is the maximum shear stress theory. So the nature of failure, later on I will show you that there is a crack which is going to be formed, and normally this crack or this plane of crack will be at an angle of 45 degrees. So what do we mean by a compressive load? When two forces are going to be coplanar and they are going to act in opposite direction on a specimen, we see that it is being subjected to a compressive load. So this is the specimen on which we are going to, this is the cast iron specimen on which we are going to conduct the compressive experiment, compressive strength experiment. And before we actually conduct the experiment, what we need to do is we need to measure the dimensions of this specimen. Normally what we do is we measure the diameter at 3 different places and take the average. So what we have done is the initial diameter of the specimen, we have measured it at 3 different places divided by 3, and we have obtained it as 29.5 mm, and based on this we find out what is the initial cross-sectional area, pi d square by 4. Then what is the initial length of the specimen? That also has to be measured, that is this distance. The only thing is, you can conduct a compressive test both on a compressive testing machine as well as a universal testing machine. As you are aware, we call it as UTM because a large number of tests can be conducted on this machine. You can conduct tensile test, you can conduct shear test, you can conduct bending test and compressive test, everything can be conducted. That is why it is called as a universal testing machine. Today what we will do is we will conduct this compressive test on cast iron on the UTM only. The only care that needs to be taken is there are two jaws which are going to come in contact with the two surfaces, and then a compressive load is going to be applied. Those jaws have to be quite hard because this material is hard. So during the process of compression, those plates which are actually exerting a compressive load, they should not get deformed or damaged. And these are the readings which you are going to which we have obtained, and you are going to write in the journal. Then there are some calculations. Obviously, when you apply a compressive load, what happens is there will be an increase in the cross-sectional area and there will be a decrease in the length. So again, after the specimen fails in this nature, what I have shown, you are going to stop loading, then find out what is the final diameter of the specimen, that is at the maximum bulged part. You need to find out the diameter and also find out what is the final length of the specimen. It would have reduced. So once you find out the final diameter, find out what is the final cross-sectional area, and then find out what is the final length, then you need to find out what is the percentage reduction in the length, how much it has reduced, by what amount. Since this is in comparison with the original value, we write it as L1 minus L2 divided by L1 into 100, and there will be an increase in the cross-sectional area. So what is the percentage increase in the cross-sectional area is A2 minus A1 divided by A1 into 100. Now at the ultimate load, wherever it fails, we find out that load, and that maximum load divided by the cross-sectional area, that is the initial cross-sectional area, will give you the ultimate compressive strength. Then this represents the nature of graph when you plot stress versus strain using these values, stress and strain, and there will be a linear portion in this graph. So in that linear portion, you can draw the coordinates and find out the Young's modulus as delta sigma by delta epsilon. That is, it will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So these are the calculations which you are going to write in the journals. Now I will show you how the specimen is going to be mounted and how we are going to actually conduct the experiment. So this is the universal testing machine on which we are going to conduct the test. The specimen will be placed on the lower jaw or the lower platform, and it has to be placed exactly at the center. Now, as I said, since cast iron is a very hard material, just to ensure there is a hole here, just to ensure that there is enough support, we are going to use this plate and place it on the specimen and then start the loading process. So we have kept it at the center. We will place this plate, which is harder than cast iron. In spite of being hard, you can see that there are marks which are created. And after we place, then we are going to conduct the experiment. So the specimen has now been loaded. There is a plate which is kept on the upper surface of the specimen. You can see that there is a plate so that the main plate of the UTM does not get damaged. And now we will start the loading process. Okay, so the specimen has been mounted, and this is the loading module which has got a hydraulic pump inside, and this is going to pump oil at a high pressure in order to apply the compressive load. It is all digitized. You can see that there is a digital indicator which is going to directly indicate the load in kilonewton and the displacement. And here, there is also a computer on which the readings are going to be recorded. We will be obtaining a graph directly once the experiment is conducted. Now we will start the loading process, and we will take the readings in steps of 50 kilonewton. Okay, so he'll start the loading process. डिस्प्ले आगे होता है ना ಹೇಳಿ but load on ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ here you can see that the value of the load is increasing. We are increasing the compressive load, and automatically along with that the displacement or the deflection is also changing, and the graph is getting plotted. So finally, once the specimen fails, we will get the final graph. The nature of graph function. So once the specimen fails, when we see the graph which has been plotted, you will see that this graph is very similar to the graph which I had drawn on the board. That is, it goes and it fails suddenly. So you can see that after the conduction of the experiment, this is how the specimen looks like. It is bulged at the center. There is an increase in the cross-sectional area, and there will be a decrease in the length. You can also see the way it has cracked. Okay, so there is a crack which can be seen, and as I mentioned, normally this angle of crack or the plane of crack will be at an angle of 45 degrees. So that completes the experiment. Please note down those readings which were given, and then write the journal. And in the conclusion, you can write about or compare, let's say, the compressive strength of various metals, and say that cast iron is one of the hardest metals which can take more compressive load. Okay, thank you.